What if I told you that Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, founder of the Theosophical Society and one of the greatest esoteric authorities in history, managed to map with terrifying precision what happens to the soul in the first 30 days after death more than 7,000 times throughout her 3 decades of spiritual research? What if this same woman, who influenced Gandhi, Thomas Edison, and even Einstein, revealed specific knowledge about the soul's journey that can completely transform your understanding about death and, more importantly, about how you are living now? Helena Blavatsky, known as the Great Initiate, left us more than 15,000 pages of documented records that continue to shock researchers with astonishing precision. Her teachings, forbidden and persecuted for more than 100 years by religious and scientific authorities, have finally reached you. Why were these revelations so feared? Because they completely destroy our traditional understanding about death, judgment, and the soul's destiny. Blavatsky didn't just communicate with thousands of disembodied spirits, she documented, step by step, the exact process that each soul goes through during its first 30 days in the beyond. These are not vague theories or poetic speculations. They are detailed descriptions, verified by respectable witnesses, including scientists, doctors, and scholars of her time. What you are about to discover was considered so revolutionary that they tried to erase these teachings from history. But truth has a way of surviving. And today, more than 140 years later, these revelations have reached you at the exact moment when humanity most needs to understand what really happens when we leave this world. Imagine for a moment, have you ever lost someone dear and wondered where that person is now? Have you ever felt fear of the unknown that awaits us after the last breath? Or maybe you have premonitions, dreams, or signs that you can't explain. Today, you will discover 5 transformative revelations that Helena Blavatsky documented about the first 30 days after death. Prepare yourself, because what you are about to hear may forever change how you see death, life, and your purpose here on Earth. Before revealing these revolutionary discoveries that change my understanding about life and death, I need to ask you an important question. Have you ever had that inexplicable feeling that someone dear who passed away was still present by your side? You know when you feel a sudden chill, a familiar perfume out of nowhere, or that inner certainty that you're not alone, even when you're completely by yourself. This experience, which millions of people report but few dare to speak about openly, was exactly what Helena Blavatsky managed to explain through her deep research into the state of the soul after death. She discovered that these sensations are not imagination. They are not tricks of the mind in grief. They are real evidence that consciousness continues active and seeks communication in the first days after departure. During her years of investigation in the late 19th century, Blavatsky documented that the soul goes through a specific period of 30 days where it still maintains an energetic connection with the physical plane. It is during this period that it tries to communicate, console, and often finalize pending matters with those who remained. You may have lived this without realizing it. That vivid dream with your grandmother right after the funeral, the feeling that your father was watching during a difficult moment, the inexplicable certainty that your mother was proud when you managed to overcome a challenge. According to Blavatsky, these are not coincidences or projections of your desire. They are real forms of communication from the soul in transition. What makes these revelations even more extraordinary is that Blavatsky didn't just theorize about this. She developed specific methods to facilitate this communication, techniques that were practiced in secret for more than a century and that today you will learn about. Speaking of connections, I have a curiosity. From which city are you watching me now? Leave a comment with your city. I love knowing that this message is reaching people from all corners. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky was born on August 12, 1831, in Ukraine, and from childhood showed extraordinary abilities. At 17, she was already traveling the world in search of esoteric knowledge, studying with masters in Tibet, Egypt, and India for more than 20 years before founding the Theosophical Society in New York in 1875. But what few know is that between 1875 and 1891, the year of her death, Blavatsky conducted more than 3,000 documented sessions of communication with spirits, always in the presence of qualified witnesses. Among them were Colonel Henry Steele Olcott, co-founder of the Theosophical Society, Dr. Franz Hartmann, renowned German physician, and dozens of stenographers who recorded every word. Blavatsky's method was rigorously scientific for the standards of the time. She entered an altered state of consciousness, always in a controlled location, surrounded by skeptical observers that included scientists, doctors, and academics. Her communications were recorded simultaneously by multiple stenographers and later verified by information that she consciously could not have known. What emerged from these records was a detailed map of the soul's journey in the first 30 days after death, documented in her secret work, the Western Tibetan Book of the Dead, which remained restricted only to the most advanced members of the Theosophical Society for more than 100 years. But the veracity of her discoveries was not sustained only by her mediumistic abilities. Blavatsky was an extraordinary scholar, fluent in more than 12 languages, including Sanskrit, Tibetan, and Egyptian hieroglyphs. She had access to sacred texts that had never been translated to the West, documents kept in Tibetan monasteries and Egyptian temples for millennia. The British Museum still preserves more than 2,000 letters from Blavatsky, written in 17 different languages, where she quotes textually sources that academics of her time considered legendary, but that today we know to be historical and precise. Her revelations were so precise that the Catholic Church in 1884 officially prohibited the reading of her works, classifying them as dangerous to the Christian faith. European universities cancelled scheduled lectures. Governments confiscated her books. But there is something that Helena Blavatsky revealed that shocked even Dr. Richard Hodgson, skeptical investigator of the Society for Psychical Research of London. Something so revolutionary that it forever changed our understanding about what happens in the first moments after death. What you will discover now will shake your deepest beliefs about the nature of consciousness and the soul. The first revelation, the 3 levels of consciousness. The first revolutionary discovery of Helena Blavatsky about the first 30 days after death completely destroys our traditional understanding about what happens at the moment of departure. According to her detailed records, physical death does not happen all at once. Consciousness separates from the body in 3 distinct stages, each taking approximately 2 to 3 days to complete. She called this process the triple liberation of the soul. First occurs the separation from the physical body, what we call clinical death, but consciousness still remains connected through what she identified as etheric silver cord. During these first 72 hours, the soul observes everything, the wake, the tears, the prayers, but still feels partially connected to the body. To explain this simply, imagine you are leaving a house where you lived for decades. Even being outside, you still look through the windows. You still feel connected to that place. This is exactly how the soul feels in the first 3 days. Blavatsky documented the specific case of Margaret Hartwell, deceased on March 15, 1883, in Chicago, during a mediumistic session held 48 hours after her death, in the presence of Dr. William Stainton Moses and 2 doctors from St. Mary's Hospital. Margaret communicated precise details of conversations that happened beside her bed after her clinical death, including words whispered by her daughter that no one else in the room could hear. The second separation happens between the 3rd and 6th day. Here consciousness liberates itself from the emotional body, leaving behind fears, anxieties, and earthly attachments. Blavatsky observed that many souls report feeling an indescribable lightness at this moment, as if an invisible weight had been removed. The 3rd and final separation occurs between the 6th and 9th day, when consciousness liberates itself from the lower mental body, conditioned thoughts limiting beliefs and the ego personality. What remains is the pure essence of the soul, finally free to begin its true journey in the beyond. This 9-day process completely determines how the soul will experience the next 21 days. Souls that resist the separations, that cling to the body or to earthly emotions, can become trapped between worlds for years or even decades. But this is just the beginning of the transformative revelations that Blavatsky left us, the second revelation, the soul's tribunal. Here is where it becomes absolutely incredible. The second discovery of Helena Blavatsky tears down everything that religions have taught us about judgment after death. There is no external judge. There is no divine tribunal. There is no external condemnation. What exists is something much deeper, and at the same time more merciful. The soul becomes its own judge. Between the 10th and 20th day after death, consciousness enters what Blavatsky called the chamber of the cosmic mirror. Here, free from all earthly illusions, the soul sees itself for the first time as it really is. Not as it believed itself to be, not as others saw it, but its true essence. Blavatsky recorded more than 800 cases where spirits described this experience. They report that it is like being before a mirror that reflects not the physical appearance, but each intention, each choice, each moment of love or selfishness experienced on earth. The most documented case was that of Charles Whitman, deceased on September 7, 1886 in New York. Charles had been a respectable businessman, religious, apparently virtuous. But when he communicated through Blavatsky on the 13th day after his death, in the presence of his widow and Dr. Elliot Coues, he revealed details about dishonest business practices that he had hidden for decades. But here is the extraordinary. Charles was not being punished for these revelations. He was being liberated. For the first time in my life, he communicated, I can see who I really was, not who I pretended to be. And in that truth, I find peace. The soul is not condemned for its failures. It is illuminated by them. Each mistake becomes a lesson understood. Each hurt caused generates genuine compassion. Each lost opportunity to love transforms into wisdom for future existences. Blavatsky discovered that souls that pass through this experience with acceptance and humility emerge completely transformed, radiant with a light that she described as pure love distilled by truth. During these 10 days in the cosmic mirror, the soul also reviews all its previous incarnations, finally understanding the connecting thread that links all its existences. Patterns reveal themselves, purposes become clear. The soul understands why it was born, what it came to learn and what it still needs to accomplish. But there is a third revelation, something that Helena Blavatsky discovered that is so transformative that it changed her own understanding about the purpose of human existence. If you have been impressed so far, prepare yourself, because what comes now will expand your consciousness about who you really are and why you are here at this exact moment in history. The third revelation, the reunion with the soul family. Helena Blavatsky's most revolutionary discovery destroys the idea that we die alone, or that death definitively separates us from those we love. Between the 21st and 30th day, something magnificent happens. The soul is reunited with what Blavatsky called the cosmic family, a group of consciousnesses that evolves together through multiple incarnations. These are not random souls. They are consciousnesses that chose to grow together through time. Some were your parents in this life, others your children. Some appeared as close friends, others as teachers, or even as necessary challenges for your growth. The most extraordinary thing is that in this reunion, all earthly roles dissolve. Your mother may have been your daughter in another life. Your husband may have been your brother. Your best friend may have been your father in a previous incarnation. Relationships reveal themselves in their pure form, unconditional love in different expressions. Blavatsky documented that these soul families are composed of approximately 12 to 144 consciousnesses that have worked together for millennia, each specialized in different aspects of spiritual growth. Some are masters of love, others of wisdom, others of courage. During this 10-day period, the newly arrived soul is welcomed, healed from earthly traumas, and prepared for its next phase. But here is what will change your perspective on relationships. Many of the people in your current life are members of this same spiritual family. That instant connection you felt with someone, that inexplicable recognition, that feeling of, we've met before. According to Blavatsky, this is not imagination. It is the soul's memory recognizing a journey companion. This means that when you lose someone dear, it is not a definitive separation. It is just a temporary pause until the next reunion, whether on the spiritual plane or in a future incarnation. This revelation completely transforms how we see our present relationships. Each significant person in your life chose to be here with you at this specific moment, to learn, teach, or heal something together. Conflicts become opportunities for growth. Love becomes divine recognition. Now you must be wondering how to apply these discoveries in your current life, how to recognize the members of your soul family, and how to strengthen these sacred connections. For you to completely understand the transformative power of these revelations, I need to share 3 specific cases that Helena Blavatsky documented and that forever changed how we see death and relationships. The first case happened on November 23, 1884, in Boston. Lady Catherine Morrison, wife of an English lord, had lost her only daughter Emma, just 8 years old, victim of tuberculosis. Catherine was devastated, considering suicide, when she sought Blavatsky in desperation. During the session, in the presence of Dr. Anna Kingsford and 2 skeptical observers, Emma communicated clearly, revealing that she and her mother had been sisters in a previous life in Egypt, where Emma had died young, saving Catherine from a fire. "I chose to be your daughter in this life," Emma communicated, "so that you could experience the maternal love that was lost when I protected you before." Catherine not only found consolation, she understood that the love between them was eternal and that they would meet again. She dedicated the rest of her life to helping other mothers in mourning, founding 3 orphanages in Boston. The second case involved Marcus Sullivan, a 45-year-old man who had lost his best friend James in a work accident in New York in 1887. For months, Marcus carried terrible guilt because he had missed work on the day of the accident. If he had been there, maybe he could have saved James. Through Blavatsky, James communicated a revelation that left everyone in the room in tears. "Marcus, you missed work because your soul knew. We agreed before being born that when my time came to leave, you should not be present. Your mission is to take care of my family, not die with me. Stop blaming yourself and start living the purpose for which you stayed." Marcus discovered that James had left a secret letter, asking him to take care of his widow and children if something happened. He understood that everything was part of a greater plan. The third case was the most extraordinary. In 1889, during a public session at Madison Square Theatre, in the presence of more than 200 people, including journalists and scientists, Blavatsky received communication from a spirit that identified itself only as the Doctor. This spirit revealed advanced medical knowledge about a cholera epidemic that was approaching New York, including its exact origin, how it would spread, and specific prevention methods that would only be discovered by medicine 20 years later. The information was so precise that it saved thousands of lives, but the most impactful was when the Doctor explained that he had chosen to communicate this information because he was paying a karmic debt from a previous life where, as a doctor in ancient Egypt, he had neglected an epidemic due to personal pride. These cases are extraordinary, but here is what few know. Helena Blavatsky not only revealed this knowledge that can transform not just your life, but your total understanding about death, relationships, and purpose. This final revelation will give you practical tools that you never imagined existed. Now that you know the 3 fundamental revelations of Helena Blavatsky about the first 30 days after death, the time has come to discover how to apply this transformative knowledge in your current life. First, you need to understand that death is not the opposite of life. It is its natural continuation. This change of perspective removes the fear that paralyzes and allows us to live with more courage, love, and purpose. Start practicing what Blavatsky called conscious communication with your soul family. Every night before sleeping, dedicate 10 minutes to silence your mind and mentally send love and gratitude to all the loved ones who have already departed. Don't ask for specific signs or answers. Simply radiate love. You will be surprised with the results. Many practitioners report vivid dreams, extraordinary synchronicities, and a growing sensation that they are not alone in their journeys. Second, practice the cosmic mirror exercise while you are still alive. Once a week, sit in silence and honestly review your actions, intentions, and choices of the last days. Ask yourself, if I died today, what would I be proud of? What would I regret? This exercise is not to generate guilt, but to cultivate awareness. The more honest your self-evaluation is now, the more prepared your soul will be for the post-death journey. Third, recognize the members of your soul family present. Observe your most significant relationships, those people with whom you feel instant connection, conflicts that generate growth, or loves that transcend logical explanation. Start treating these relationships as sacred. Understand that each interaction is an opportunity for mutual evolution. Conflicts become chances for healing. Moments of love become eternal investments. Fourth, develop what Blavatsky called transition consciousness. Several times a day, especially in moments of stress or fear, remember, I am an eternal soul living a temporary experience. This situation is just a lesson in my infinite journey. Finally, dedicate time regularly to cultivate your spiritual nature. Meditate, pray, study sacred texts, practice acts of compassion. You don't need to be special or have psychic abilities to apply these teachings. You just need sincere intention and consistent practice. Remember, your preparation for life after death doesn't happen just in the last moments. It happens with each conscious choice you make today. Now you possess knowledge that was kept secret for more than a century. But knowledge without application is just information. The true power is in allowing these revelations to completely transform how you live each day. Helena Blavatsky discovered something that changed her own existence. We are not human beings trying to have spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. This simple change of perspective transforms everything. When you understand that your soul is eternal, that it is part of a cosmic family that has evolved together for millennia, and that each experience, whether pleasurable or painful, is an opportunity for growth, you stop being a victim of circumstances and become a conscious co-creator of your journey. Think about the people you have lost. Now you know that they went through the 3 stages of liberation, found themselves face to face with their truth in the cosmic mirror, and were reunited with the soul family to which you belong. They are not suffering. They are growing, learning, and preparing for the next chapter of their evolution. This understanding not only brings consolation, it brings empowerment. You can start living knowing that each act of love, each gesture of compassion, each moment of genuine forgiveness reverberates through the spiritual dimensions and strengthens the eternal bonds with those you love. More importantly, you can start recognizing the members of your soul family who are incarnated alongside you at this moment. That spouse who challenges you to grow, that child who awakens your capacity for unconditional love, that friend who always appears at the right moments. They are not in your life by chance. They are fulfilling sacred contracts made before they were even born. When you live with this awareness, everyday problems become opportunities. Difficulties reveal themselves as lessons in disguise. Relationships transform into sacred journeys of mutual growth. You now possess the key to live with transcendent purpose, unconditional love, and unshakable courage. Death has lost its power over you because you understand that it is just a transition, not an end. But there is one last thing that Helena Blavatsky taught us. Something about the present moment that can transform not just your life, but your total understanding about why you were born exactly in this period of human history. This final revelation will give you a sense of mission that you never imagined possible. The final and most transformative revelation that Helena Blavatsky left us completely transcends our understanding about individual life and connects us with an extraordinary cosmic purpose. She discovered that we are not born at this specific moment in history by chance. Each soul that is incarnated now chose to be here during what she called the Great Transition, a unique period where humanity makes the collective passage to a superior level of spiritual consciousness. You are part of a special generation of souls, evolved consciousnesses that volunteered to incarnate during this challenging period to help in the spiritual elevation of humanity. Your fears, your searches, your questions about life after death, all of this are signs that your soul is awakening to its true mission. During her last years, Blavatsky prophesied that a time would come when secret spiritual knowledge would be released to the masses, when millions of people would simultaneously begin to question the limitations of traditional religion and seek deeper answers. That time is now. Each time you question, each time you search, each time you feel that there is more to existence than appears, you are fulfilling part of your sacred mission. You are contributing to the collective awakening of humanity. The death of loved ones, although painful, often serves as a catalyst for this awakening. It is when we lose someone we love that we begin to seriously question what exists beyond the physical. Your losses were not in vain. They were calls for you to awaken to your eternal nature. Helena Blavatsky taught us that the greatest contribution we can give to the world is to live consciously as spiritual beings. When you live knowing that you are an eternal soul, that you are part of a cosmic family, that each choice reverberates through the dimensions. You become a beacon of light for others who are still asleep. Your journey of spiritual discovery is not just personal, it is cosmic. Each step you take toward expanded consciousness contributes to the elevation of all humanity. You are simultaneously the student and the teacher, the seeker and the finder. The knowledge you receive today should not remain just with you. Share it with those who are ready. Be gentle with those who are not yet. But continue shining your light, because in times of spiritual darkness, a single candle can illuminate an entire universe. If this journey touched your heart and opened your mind, join our spiritual family. Click subscribe and activate the bell. We have much more transformative revelations waiting for you, and I want you to be the first to receive them. Leave a comment telling me, which revelation impacted you most? Have you already lived something that confirms these teachings? I personally read each comment and love our connection. If you know someone who needs this message, share it now. A single revelation can change an entire life. Be the instrument of this transformation. Remember, you did not discover these truths by chance. Your soul already knew all of this. It was just waiting for the right moment to remember. That moment is now. Your sacred mission has begun, and the entire universe is celebrating your awakening.